So today, in fact, as we were setting up this interview, and we'll introduce our guest in a minute, there has been a tentative agreement between Nabisco workers and um, the parent company of Nabisco. Now, this is some of the workers that have been appointed by the workers who are striking. Some of the workers are on the bargaining unit. So the bargaining unit has come to terms with Nabisco's parent company, but at least one source I spoke with said they don't know the terms yet. They're going to vote on it tomorrow. So tentative is the key word. This is not a done deal. The workers can look at the terms and say not good enough. But as of now, it could be the strike could potentially end as soon as tomorrow. So that remains to be seen. But before that agreement, folks like Jesse, and let me just introduce you. Joining us is Jesse Dreyer. He's a member of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, Local 162. You're an elected leader of Portland Democratic Socialists of America chapter, and you've been out supporting the Nabisco workers who are on the picket line striking pretty much every day or every morning after your main job. So tell us about on Monday. You went out like you've been going out, Jesse, to support the Nabisco workers. Can you kind of tell us from the beginning of that what happened?
So I clocked out of UPS around 7:30. I head down to the Nabisco plant on 100 Northeast Columbia Boulevard in Portland. It's like a 10-minute drive away from the UPS hub. And, I get out my megaphone to yell at the scabs like I always do. And, there's an action that's been, planned by some folks that is going on. They're blocking the driveway with a beat up Buick. And there's just a bunch of protesters there, not really, they weren't the workers themselves, but, supporters of the strikers who, kind of got up in the grills of all of the, security guys. Huffmaster Security Solutions is what Mondelez Nabisco has hired. They're based out of Clawson, Michigan, and they're a premier both strike breaking and scab servicing company. So they both protect the scabs and hire the scabs from out of state, because none of the workers, it seems from the job listings, that they're taking them in from up to 200 miles outside the city minimum. And otherwise they're flying them in and putting them up in nice hotels up at North Portland. And I run up to the action because I wanted to see what was going on. I pull out the megaphone. I scream out shame on you, scabs. You know what you're doing. You've helped erode these people's health care by going into this factory while they're on strike. You've made it so that their children can't get effective food or health care while they're out on strike. You're depriving good, hardworking people of their livelihood, all that good stuff. And, I've been doing this for 4 weeks now, and, because they've been on strike since August 10th. So it's been a minute. And, the security there knows me real well because I'm there every morning. And as they were busing the scabs, into the van because they couldn't get the bus into the facility because of the blocked car, I'm standing in front of their van, providing a little bit of a human shield. And, I'm not really doing anything but, yelling at them on the sidewalk, demonstrating with the First Amendment right and whatnot. And I get just shoved up by these Huffmaster's thugs. They're just pushing me against the van. They slam me into it. Big guy kind of pins me against it. And as his buddy starts elbowing me in the face a bunch of times, it was a real, I had the siren on my bullhorn going the entire time. Cause at that point I was just my voice isn't going to do anything, but I'm going to make sure the hell they hear me. So, after that I get pulled off. I'm pinned up there for a good 2 minutes, just taking elbows to the face. They're stamping on my feet. They're throwing knees all the while. They're, security supervisors are yelling at the strike supporters and various workers who've come up to see the action. You can't touch them. You can't touch them. All the while, Huffmaster's just beating me senseless. So,
and can you tell the audience what Huffmaster means?
Huffmaster is the security firm that Nabisco and its parent company Mondelez is hired to protect the scabs. They're also the ones that hire the scabs. Scabs being the replacement workers for striking workers.
Right. And I want to show Colin, if you have it. This is the image of just one of the Huffmasters who have been out there, and he is one of the guys that was roughing you up. I don't know his name. Is that correct? That's the person, one of the people.
That's the guy that was pinning me up. Sophie Peel from the Willamette Week described it as a smushing, and I'd agree. He smushed me good against that van.
Right. I want to show also video of just some of kind of what's been going on here in terms of the violence.
Why is Huffmaster so violent?
Hey, what the fuck? Another lawsuit coming.
So I don't know. You have all these companies from Amazon, now Starbucks, whatever. They like to throw out these, niceties. No, we don't want, we don't want a third party. We want to keep the relationship between, the sacred relationship between us and workers. But it looks to me like they're beating the hell out of workers who are striking there.
It's clear that Huffmaster is escalating. The security forces, they're kind of at their wits' end from having assholes like me come over there and yell at them every single day, having community supporters come and block them because Portland loves the bakers, and they hate these scabs because as the chant goes, get up, get down. Portland is a union town, and we are making sure the whole community that the bakers are treated with respect, because the Nabisco plant is in the northeast of Portland, which is the historically black neighborhood in Portland. And, this is a multicultural workforce. One of the strikers once told me, I never thought I could travel. I never thought I'd have enough money to travel. But when I go to work, it's like I'm going to the United Nations every single day because of the international element of the workforce. I think that there's 12 or 13 languages spoken on the floor. So it's a truly a great example of the multiracial working class, in action here.
If you can, Jesse, speak on organizations like these Huffmasters. I think a lot of people don't realize that it's not just the companies in question that are anti-union or participating in anti-union things, but there's a literal industry for this to provide, as you say, scabs, to provide a workforce to replace those who are trying to fight for workers' rights and for their own rights as a worker. If you can speak more on that kind of industry.
Absolutely. I mean, Huffmaster is basically like a modern day Pinkerton detective agency. They're hired to, manage the strike, in reality, to break the strike by bringing in replacement workers to, temporarily work to, basically drain the coffers of every single member on the line until they break and come back to work for less. That's not how it happened in this case, though. Huffmaster, based out of Clawson, Michigan, they staff, tens of labor strikes a year, that kind of stuff. I haven't done the whole research into them yet, other than my lawyer is doing that because I filed a lawsuit against them for assault and battery for what happened to me on Monday. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure that that's going to come out through subpoena records, of course, in the next coming months. But yeah, basically modern day Pinkertons. If anyone knows their labor history, these firms have always existed to provide an iron fist against workers who are fighting for their rights, fighting for their families, fighting for their pensions, their health care, better wages. And I'm just glad that community supporters have been out there every single day to help put a stop to them. I know that my organization, Portland DSA, has been organizing weekly rallies to support the bakers. It's been an incredible element because we actually have started a national strike coordination. As Jordan said, this strike is not going on just in Portland, Oregon, but in Chicago, Illinois, Richmond, Virginia, Aurora, Colorado, and Norcross, Georgia. That is 3 production facilities and 3 distribution centers. The Chicago one doubles as both. And it has been a great way that our organization has actually been turning out people to the line in every single state that there is a strike going on.